So now the mind relays the information to the intellect, which is the central government. And then the intellect makes a decision. This person is no one to you. You don't know that person. Just move on. So what do? You just pass that person by. In the same way, when you go to the market, what do? You keep passing people. You keep passing them up. You keep passing them up. Because why? Because the intellect keeps judging and keeps telling you, you don't know this person, just move on, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. And therefore you just keep moving through the market. Until, of course, you meet somebody that you know who's familiar, and then you immediately stop and you greet them and you talk to them. Hi, how are you? When did you come to Austin? Etc. How did that happen? Because the intellect is telling the mind, this person is familiar to you, therefore the mind tells the senses, smile, look at them with affection. The mind is telling the senses, right? So the intellect is the governor. The intellect governs what the mind does, and the mind in turn governs what the senses do. This is how it works. So the work of the mind, it takes place twice. First, it grasps the objects of the senses with the help of the senses first, and then it relays the information to the intellect, and then the intellect will pass the judgment. It comes back to the mind, and the mind then tells the senses to act accordingly. Now, what is the practical implication of this? Let us think about it. Now, someone who is wise also sees the objects of the senses. What happens? His mind relays the information to the intellect. Now, the intellect, being firm in the knowledge of the guru, of the spiritual master, takes the decision. This object is not mine. It cannot give me the fulfillment that I'm seeking. So then the intellect tells the mind, don't divert the senses there. Don't take the sense, or don't direct the senses over there. And so the mind does not object, nor do the senses. Why? Because they are at the mercy of the intellect. They're mere servants. They're not going to go against what the intellect tells them. Of course not. So they simply follow. Just like if you could instruct a horse to follow a certain particular path, it does so. It does not object. The driver of a car turns the wheels onto a certain road. The wheels do not object. Their job is to keep moving irrespective of the direction. In the same way, the mind and the senses, they do not object. They simply follow the instructions of the intellect. So everything depends on the intellect, is what I'm trying to say. Intellect is most important. And this is why we need the power of discrimination, or the intellect. And in the absence of this power of discrimination, our common sense of infinite lifetimes tells us that the world is ours. The world is ours. And this is what happens in the world. People are still running after the world, even in old age, even after retirement. If a man doesn't have a wife and children, what does he do? He adopts a wife and children and serves them. Adopts a child and spends years and years raising that child. In this way, what do? We bring about the frustrations and the anxieties and the tensions and all of that. And we make no effort to get out of this mess. Sri Maharaji says, I tell people that, now your son has grown up, he's earning. Why don't you give up all those family responsibilities and spend time in sadhana? But Maharaji, my son is still a child. He's not capable of like managing the affairs of the business. So Maharaji says, so what do you expect your child to grow up and become your father? Is that what you're hoping for? Your son will become your father? No, Maharaji, what you're saying is true, but the intellect, it wants to go by its practice of so many lifetimes. It doesn't cooperate. It doesn't listen. So Sri Maharaji says such individuals, they can never make any progress in their spiritual life.